I'll share my screen, and then
So,
I'll will.
so
So
welcome all. Those of you have not been able to join us, but you have indicated that you'd like to record. You would like to listen to the recording. So we encourage you to listen to recording. Stay in touch, because if you lose contact, then there is less chance. But if you stay connected, then there's a much better chance that you'll be able to adopt new habit. Rashmi just shared her success story, and sorry, Aarti shared her
Aarti
success
is, yeah,
story,
yeah,
and Aarti, best of luck to you. And we know that the fact that you are showing up, that means you are committed, and I have no doubt that you'll be very successful. And at any point in time, if you decided to call for a buddy, then I think there are enough people who would help you. So let
yeah,
us know if you the buddy system is fantastic, and it's working for two other people. They both wanted to get up at 6 in the morning, so I made a deal with them. I said, you will message me that you are up or not, and if they are not up, then I'll call them back to wake them up. And so normally I get a 6 o'clock WhatsApp message, I'm up, and I just have to say congratulations, and then start the day. So it's working out very well.
yeah.
So
In fact,
with that, money, please.
yeah. In fact, I'll add to that. Two more people I work with for 5 o'clock wake up. Each person has their own way of solving this problem. So definitely, it is a personal habit that you are trying to adopt. So make it yours. And today we are looking at what does it take for us to increase our level of success on this habit. It is going to be very quick. I have created a mnemonic. It is called Secret. Okay, and primarily it is to do with six ideas that we can explore in this process. And the first one I shared in the group with all of us to for us to experiment. This is called reframing. Reframing typically happens when, let's say, you come up with, when we start a habit out of 7 days, typically we start off one day, 2 days succeeding, and then some days we're not able to do that, and some days we are able to partially do that, things like that. So instead of saying that, we are not succeeding on the days, we can also look at what does it take for us to just reframe it in our own mind. And this is the question I had asked in the group for us to think through and reflect on. What would you reframe, right? There are a couple of examples I gave in there. And this is also there connected to Yoga Sutra and Patanjali. Those who are interested in the Yoga Sutra connection, they can look at it. But fundamentally, reframing is about, if something is not working well, you can look at the silver lining in there. And this is kind of what helps you in working through that process. So instead of saying something is not working, what is working, and look at those aspects and where you focus your attention on, and that is what grows. So what you appreciate appreciates, right? So that is what reframing is all about. Therefore, focus on that, what changes. The second one is on feelings, right? And this is to do with, for example, what makes you joyful, what makes you happy. Make a list of things. For example, for me, I like to walk my dog in the morning. Some days I want to go for a nice walk or a jog, and this is in the afternoon. If some people like to go for a drive, and that gives them joy. Some people want to watch a sunset in the beach. Some people want to listen to your music. Make a list of things that gives you a joy, and keep that list ready. So whenever you're feeling down, you can change the feelings by doing from one of that item from the list that you have. This is like a cheat sheet for you to go to when you want to change your mood to an upbeat one, right? Some people want to cook, some people, there is various lists. The list is can be as long as what you want, but as long as it changes your mood from a or down to a positive mood, you can use that. Typically what happens is when you don't get up or do your habit, we start kicking ourselves. And that is where you can apply these mood shifters to shift into a positive mood. And see, then we can do the third habit, which is execute what is in front of you. So instead of looking for some muse, or looking for some ideas to execute on, oh, I need to clean. If you see a garbage, you can pick it up and put it in the dustbin, kind of activity. Do an activity that is in front of you, so that it gives you a positive uplift, because you've changed your mood. then now you can add on top of it to say, oh, I have done this task or I have done that task. And that way, if you check off a list of items in your list, that also adds to it so that you can take baby steps towards moving to your goals. So don't make your habit a big thing that you cannot cross over. It's like a mountain you need to climb. Break it into smaller parts, take some positive steps, and take what is in front of you. If required, change your mood and reframe so that you can take baby steps towards it. And the last thing, which is interesting also, is energy levels. But I'll come to that. Before that, there is one more small thing that you can explore, which is called self-talk. When something goes wrong, when you're not doing your habit, watch what is going on inside your head. Typically, we will tend to put ourselves down. We will try to say, "Oh, I'm worthless," or we will have some negative self-talk or negative narrative that we go through. Just give, don't do anything. Just observe what you are doing to yourself, right? And that is an important element for us to come out of that negative self-talk into something that positively reframes. So the all we need to do is not change anything, just observe. And if you observe it, then you can start exploring other ideas to say, oh, now that's interesting. When I do this, I do that. And typically that is a sequence that you tend to repeat. So there is a 1, 2, 3 loop that you might have, or a 1, 2 loop, or 1, 2, 3, 4 loop, where you say, okay, this starts, this is the trigger. When I do this, then I do this, and then I go to the next step of doing this. And if you find a way to break that cycle by just observation and just the awareness and paying attention to it, shift the self-talk within your head to do something positive. And the last one is very important, because at the end of the day, irrespective of you take the baby step or whatever, you need to make sure that your energy levels is steady throughout the day. And that's where food comes in. As you can see in this plate out here, there is a lot of food varieties that we have: carbohydrates, proteins, and various food pyramid elements that we all look at. Some of the sugars, some of the other pieces give a different energy level to us. This up and down of body energy also influences in terms of how we deal with our self-talk, how we take initiative, how we are able to change our feelings and reframe. If you want to be present, you need to have a steady energy level throughout the day. And that means that you're not having too much ups and downs in your sugars and other parts of your body. This is where I wanted to make sure that at least take a look at the food that you are eating, consuming throughout the day. And many of us out here have, I know that weight loss or food and diabetes we have taken as some of these habits. We want to make sure that we are anyway watching our nutrition, but how do we combine that to look at the energies so that we can follow this secret? The secret, of course, I've highlighted the SECRET, which is the first six words of this, which is easy way to remember. But at the end of the day, it is to do with what having a steady energy level, exploring and being aware of our self-talk, taking baby steps towards progress and moving it towards not a mountain but small molehills, and executing what is in front of us so that we can change the feelings that we have and work through that reframing. This is kind of what I had as tips and tricks. It's pretty simple and pretty straightforward. Obviously, if there are any questions, Dinesh, if you want to add something more to it, feel free to. Otherwise, that's what I had as a ideas for us. What works for us will vary, but I want you to explore and experiment. Dinesh, go ahead.
No, Mani, you did a very comprehensive job, and I think I really like it, what you've done.
Okay.
Yeah.
And I'll stop the sharing out here, because this, by the way, I think this is to give you a sense of we are in the 4th week of this thing. And last week I have sent out the recording of where we are, but essentially we started with gratitude, and that converted us to an intention of what habit we wanted to create and what are the ways to track success. Now that we are tracking success, we want to make sure that we want to increase the level of success that we are having on a daily, weekly basis. And that is where we are. For those of you we looked at, this is the last week's thing that I sent you a recording on. And with that said, I'll kind of stop the sharing, and then we can, if there are any questions, we can talk about it. Otherwise, I'll stop the recording, and we'll connect up over the chat. Okay.
So I think what one of the things to improve success rate is to celebrate. Start making small celebrations. So if let's say you Aarti, if you are able to do it even 1 day or 2 day, then let that be a celebration of that I was able to do it. So focus on what you are achieving, and not the fact that you were not. Some of us were not able to do 5 days, and I also realized that I need to learn a new habit. So if there are any new ideas, one of the my bad habit, or I leave things whenever I move from somewhere. So in Chennai, I left my charger. So now they're trying to courier it to me in Bangalore, and I also left my pajamas. I have to now learn not to leave things when I leave. And I think my wife is very good, because when she's around, then she'll make sure that there's nothing left. But when I'm by myself, it becomes a real issue. So any suggestion, what can I do? So that of course, one obvious idea is to when I'm ready to leave, to kind of check everything. And I did that. But in spite of that, what happened is that the wire was so in the wall, and it was white, and the wall was white, and it didn't really stand out that I left the wire. And the pajamas I left in the bathroom. So I checked the room, but I didn't bother to check the bathroom. So both times I was not able to. I left two things in Chennai, and I have left my heart, of course, in San Francisco. But well, that I don't mind. But what can I do not to forget these physical things in places where I visit? Any suggestion, Aarti or Mani?
Yeah, for me, the I think what you do follow what I normally do, which is go check the bathrooms and under the bed and the walls. So that is one thing you already identified. The second one is I make a list of things which I normally forget, like and battery charger and the bathroom thing is typically what I forget, like toothbrush and shaving kit. This is what I forget, and
Very good.
therefore
Very good idea. Very good
yeah,
idea.
I make a list of this. Then I check mark, because there is a checklist manifesto is what Nitin Gawande's book that kind of gives you the tips on that front.
Okay, I have a friend who went with his wife for shopping, and he's a philosopher friend, and he forgot that his wife came, so he came home alone. So I think one of the list we have to keep in the things I normally forget is your spouse. Aarti, you have any suggestion?
I'll add two things. So obviously doing a check once over is definitely the way. I actually do that twice, just because I like to be, I guess, thorough on that, because I know leaving behind things gives you a little bit more. It just annoys me, right? Like if you forget something, it's just like, oh, like, now I have to go buy it or whatever may be the case. But the second thing is, what I do is, if I take something out of my bag, when I'm done with using it, I'll just put it right back. So say for example, like you're at some place, right? Like submitting an application for some like documentation for like passport or something, right? So whenever it comes to important documents, what I'll do is I'll keep the folder right in front of me. And when I give the application, like the document out to the person who's looking at it, till the time the person gives it back to me, I won't put the folder away. So in a way, it just keeps me sort of, keeps it a mind checklist that I give him 2 items. I need those 2 items back before I can put the folder away. The same thing I do with like my Kindle or my charger. So if I'm charging my phone, I will make sure, obviously, I'll take the phone because I need the phone. So I'll keep the charger with it. And then if I'm reading a Kindle, when I'm done, I'll just put it away in the bag. So that's how I try and keep that habit. And I can associate with it. It's an annoyance when you forget things.
And Dinesh, one other thing it comes to me is tying a finger thread around your finger. That
Yes, yes,
typically,
that yes, that I've heard that too. I
yeah,
think I've also realized that there is a deeper issue.
right.
And the deeper issue is, and I was exploring why I do that.
Mm,
And otherwise, I'm very, very careful. So the deeper issue is that I really believe that when I leave something, that's a universe's message for me to either go back there. So and there is a very deep belief. And
mm.
so, but obviously you can overdo with that belief. To the pajamas where I left, I'm pretty convinced that I'm going to go back there and work more because this was in somebody's home, and we are trying to now form a part of a plan to work together. So actually, I told the person not to bother to send. She was going to courier it. I said, don't bother to courier because we are working together. So I'm sure I'm coming back to Chennai soon. So, but that belief is very deep. Now, of course, that belief does not help me with the charger. I don't have my charger, so I either have to buy one or they're going to have to courier.
Right.
So I think that belief, I have to deal with that belief. And until I can come out with a new belief, no matter what I do on the surface, it's not gonna solve the problem. So any suggestion on the deeper belief I have that when you
Yeah,
leave something, that means you're going to go back there.
yeah. I'll share with you offline. There is a nice memory trick that was there. I came to know recently. I'll share with you offline on that front. That's very interesting what you're talking about in terms of deeper belief.
Yeah,
Right,
I
right.
agree. I also sometimes tend to think that if I didn't have enough time in a place where I liked, I always tell myself I'm gonna be back. So what's there to worry about?
Okay, so I'm not the only one.
Yep. Definitely.
Definitely
Right,
not.
right. Okay, so when you leave something somewhere, it's not always bad. It could be good also.
Correct. Because
Because then
it's
you
supposed
end
to,
up
I
going
guess
back
it's
there to
meant to
pick up your
be.
thing, right?
Yeah.
But then
Yep.
you have
So,
to deal with the annoyance of as you
Yeah.
said.
Yeah.
so there are two things. One is I think I can now zero in. One is things which you need daily.
Right.
Like if you forget your toothbrush or you forget, and unfortunately, in all hotels you have a spare toothbrush, so it's not a big deal.
Right.
But charger is not easily available. So I think those things we need daily. So in my list, I'm gonna make a list of, like you suggested, money out of this conversation. Going to make a list of those items which are very crucial for my journey. Like if I forget passport, everything stops.
Right.
So passport, my chargers, and when I'm ready to leave, I'll make sure that those things are there. If I forget pajamas, if I forget a toothbrush, that's okay. So uh, uh, so that's what I learned from this call today. Thank you guys. Thanks, Aarti, and thanks, Mani.
Non-negotiables.
Yep. Thank you so much.
Non-negotiables, right, right.
Okay. Bye, Aarti.
Like your cell phone. Like in the old times, the magicians used to have a pigeon where their life used to be. If you kill the pigeon, the magician is dead. These
Right.
days, it's a cell phone. If you
Right.
forget your mobile, you're done
Yeah.
because you don't have any addresses, you don't know where to go. So I think AI this is the first tool of AI to control us is the cell phone, and the second one is coming now soon. Now, if we
Hopefully
want to
not.
retain our sanity and our connection to the source, the only thing we have is the AI does not have is the connection to the source. You know,
Right.
we still have that connection. So, guys, let's continue to meditate and keep your connection to the source strong, because in this exponential uh, uh, growth times, the only thing which is going to save us is our connection to the source.
Beautiful. With that, I'll pause the recording today.
So see you guys next week. Those of you who
Bye.
are truly committed, show up.
Sounds good. Thank you. That was a good parting thought. Thank you so much.
Bye.
Have a good day.